soon, you boys will be sailing into war. And in that place, there's only you and your mates.
Can't be the only ones left. Nearly 200 men gone on that bloody ship.
Every hour we drift further away from where they'll be looking.
What the hell was that? Never seen a shark like that before. There's dozens of dead bodies out there for it to munch on. He's gonna die. Shut up, this.
On the battlefield, there's only you and your mates. All you've got are your mates.
She'll be back.
Your interview.
Hi, Kiah, how you doing?
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to you. Now, obviously, I can't talk about Wyrmwood or anything because we don't have time. But I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of those movies as well. And if I ever get the chance to talk to you a little longer in the future, I'd love to pick your brain about those. But totally enjoy.
Oh man, I could talk about Wyrmwood all day. You know, Wyrmwood is like it's like a family thing for me. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like talking about one of my kids.
Yeah, so hopefully one day I'll be able to pick your brain about those films because I'm just a big fan. But I get to talk to you about Beasts of War. I love this movie. Oh my, one, I love shark thrillers. Okay, but what I was so excited about when I got the PR for this is because like there's been a lot of shark movies coming out, and not to like throw shade at any other shark movies, but I can't tell you how many times it's good looking people in scantily clad clothes swimming away from sharks. It's like, oh,
so
good.
irritating, eh?
I
And then
know.
you like within the first 5 minutes, you hate those people, and you're like, I want them all to get eaten, and I can't wait for them to get eaten. And then when I'm supposed to care about them, it's like I like the shark more than these people, you know. So it doesn't work, you know.
I just wanted to say the same thing. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Look, they're on vacation in Bahamas. Oh, I feel so bad for you.
And
Okay.
it's always like it's a grumpy fisherman, it's an Instagram model, it's her irritating boyfriend, and two nerds. Always.
Right? Yes. And then it's always the girl that lives at the end. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that was gonna happen. Okay.
Oh,
thanks.
another hot final girl. It's like, yeah, great. Like I haven't seen that 1,000 times. Yeah.
So let's talk about Beast of War. Awesome flick. I mean, let me tell you, I mean, now it's based on actual events. So just kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, right. Well, so I mean, I kind of knew when we realized we wanted to do a shark film, it was going to be some kind of a riff on Quint's monologue from Jaws, because as if you're not going to do that. Like, I've just been waiting for a filmmaker to do like a dark horror version of that film for like my whole life, you know? And I'm like, yeah, all right. Well, if nobody else is going to do it, I'll have a crack, you know?
Right.
And I did about 2 seconds of research, you know, just literally went on Google and this thing popped up. It was like, you know, the HMAS Armidale, an Australian warship went into the water in 1942, you know, sunk by Japanese Zeros, and a lot of Australian troops went in the water, and a lot of them got munted by sharks, and most of them were just never seen again. And like some of them were able to jerry-rig a motorboat, like they repaired a motorboat while being eaten, and then you know drove that boat, you know, back towards Darwin and got picked up. And I'm like, I want to tell that story, you know, but I can't tell that exact story because it would be disrespectful to the horror that these men went through. So that's why it says inspired by, you know. And so I did a lot of research into kind of that event, and a lot of that research went into the story. So just like just to add a little underline of kind of realism, but the rest of it is just me doing a really rip-roaring roller coaster version of the Jaws speech from, you know, the Indianapolis speech from Jaws, you know. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I was thinking the same thing when I was watching this movie. So
Well,
yeah,
you know,
so
he's sitting there,
I
he's going,
totally got that.
and the shark comes up with its black eyes, its doll's eyes, and you know, and it's like I woke up and Jerry Connor was bitten in half, floating up and down like a top in the water, and I'm like, ooh, that imagery is pretty cool.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's
Not that Jaws isn't a classic masterpiece, but it's just, yeah, I kind of want to see what happened with that with that little story. But
well, he
okay,
was
so
going to do the prequel, like, and then I
yeah,
think he just had such a horrible time making Jaws that he's like, I'm never going in the water again. You know?
right. Now let's talk about how, like, obviously, limited means limited. Obviously this is an independent movie and stuff like that. So obviously, you have budget constraints, time constraints, stuff like so. The feel and look of this movie is sensational. So talk about how you're able to put this world together.
Yeah, I mean, like we were working with the budget that is probably like less than half of Timothy Chalamet's fee on June, you know. So like
Right.
it's yeah, we're sort of making it on fumes. It's a big budget for a small Australian independent film, but in terms of global budgets, it's tiny, you know. So we were trying to tell this epic war film um, with a giant practical animatronic shark involved, and you know, like it's a period film, and we've got Japanese Zeros strafing warships and all sorts of stuff, and yeah, so it was pretty hard to fit like our giant vision into our small budget, and we also realized pretty quickly that we were going to have to shoot this thing in a studio context in a tank, and we did a bit of research and realized that we don't have a tank big enough to hold our vision in Australia. Like, not an indoor studio tank. Like all our studio tanks are about like 25 meters circumference, and I needed minimum 40 meters in order to sort of do what I wanted to do in the fog with the debris and like people disappearing into the fog and all that kind of stuff. So we had to build our own tank. And so logistically, this is the most difficult film I've ever made. So 4 or 5 months out, we started building tanks and sharks, and like that was a huge lead time for a small independent film. But we pulled it off, and yeah, it was difficult. Yeah.
Like this action sequences with the planes that look phenomenal. Like I was like, wow, this is impressive, and that's what makes it more impressive is what you guys are able. Because again, when you guys know, like guys like you know what you're doing behind the camera, it's like it looks sensational. I mean, I thought those plane attack sequences were, I mean, just as good as something you would see like if you went, something Disney put together or something. But
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I mean, half the trick with an indie horror film is to not try and make it look like a $200 million American studio film, because if you do that, you're doing something that they do really well anyway, so it's only going to be a pale imitation. Right. And because you don't have the budget to pull it off, it's never really going to look good. And so half the thing for a production like us, or a really good way to do it, is to just hide it in shadow and fog, and use smoke and mirrors to make it look like you've got a bigger budget than you do, but also to give it a look that's interesting. So this film has so much fog and colored light and such a hyper stylized photographic approach that it ends up not really looking like any other shark film you've ever seen. And so, by necessity, the aesthetic we had to choose, I think also made it a little bit visually interesting and original,
Absolutely. So let's talk about, well, of course, I want to talk about the cast. So obviously, Mark Cole-Smith, he's kind of the heart of the center of the story, but such a great cast. And again,
he carries the film. Yeah,
I know, but I don't want to like throw shade on these guys. But I was unfamiliar with these guys that were playing in this movie, but phenomenal job from all of them. So talk about the cast real quick.
Well, I didn't cast Mark. I wrote it for him and just hoped he'd say yes. I'd wanted to work with him for a while. He's just the perfect guy. There's no other guy who could have done this particular character in this context. So I was very happy when he said yes. The rest, most of the guys are just like really awesome, like character actors. Like some of them are leading actors in Australia. Like me and Blake, the producer, just have like a family of actors that we kind of often work with again and again. So we'd worked with a bunch of these guys before. The young guy, Will, played by Joel Nankovich, was very difficult to cast. It's very hard to find somebody who looks 17, has a period vibe, can play terrified and vulnerable, and then sort of turn an arc to go from a scared boy into a semi-heroic man. That's a hard arc to play. And he also needed to have kind of a nerdy vibe, so you sort of believe that this is a guy who read military manuals in his spare time. So there's a lot of boxes he needed to tick. And we saw hundreds of young blokes. A lot of auditions came in and some really talented actors out there. But Joel was really the only one who kind of just was Will. And so we were lucky to find him. But yeah, with a film like this, half of it's casting. You know, we started off this conversation talking about how irritating the ensembles usually are in shark movies. And it was important that, you know, you cared about these guys so that when the shark pops up and starts munching legs, you really care about which legs get munched, you know. And if you don't get that right in a genre movie, you're just making a B movie. And we wanted to make an elevated B movie, not a straight B movie, you know, like... so yeah, half of that is in how you treat the characters and the casting, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to imply that your cast isn't good looking. Like you got a good looking bunch of guys. I was just saying, like, you know, I just love how this is the World War II thing, and I love how you did the boot camp thing at the beginning because yes, you get to spend time with these guys. You know, you got the jerk, you know, and then the you know and everything. But then you said it yourself. Then like when this starts to happen and they start dying, and it's like, oh man, this sucks, you know, because you got some time to spend with them. But
yeah, they are archetypes. There's nothing wrong with archetypes, you know, like, and you want something familiar and new at the same time. It's how you treat the archetypes that's important. So you've got the hero and the scared young guy and the racist bully, and the, you know, and they're all archetypes. You know what I mean? And the angry young man, like all this stuff.
But it's like, true. It's true, like in those situations. That's what you have, like in those situations.
Anybody who's grown up with groups of young boys, and we all went to school, we all fit into an archetype. There was the funny guy, there was the nerd, there was the bully, there was the leader, and you know, like the world works on archetypes, but you've just got to get it right. They've got to be believable and preferably, you know, weirdly likable.
Absolutely. We got to talk about the shark. Oh my God! Like this shark is terrible. Like, you know, Jaws is terrible. Like the shark in Jaws, like, you know, Bruce the Shark was terrible. But this, it kind of looked like a demon. Like it looked like it's been through some shit. No offense. Yeah. But yeah. So talk about the company. So kudos to the company that put this guy together because man, that's phenomenal.
Steve Boyle's company, Formation FX. They're a Queensland-based company, and in my mind, they're the closest that we come to Weta in Australia. Just because like. They're not just really, really good at what they do. They're nerds and they love it. Like I've worked with Weta, I've worked with Richard Taylor. And the weird thing about Richard is like I was having some problem with something and he kind of just went, yeah, I'll just fix that for you for free. And I was like, sorry, did you just offer to fix something for me for free? And he's like, yeah, I'll just do it. Don't worry about producers and budgets. I'm just worried that it's not going to look right. And I'm like, I have never heard that. Like he's like he's still an indie guy. Like he's about the film. And Steve's very much like that. It's not about the money and it's not about awards and all that kind of stuff. Like he gets so frustrated when it doesn't look right. And so to him, it was more important to have this amazing shark than anything else. And most companies, it's money first and everything else, passion and love and cinema and all of that kind of stuff come after it. With Steve, it's cinema first, it's the monsters first. And like when you get somebody with that kind of mindset, the work is just so good, you know, because the work comes first, you know.
You know, I gotta let you go here in a minute, but I just wanted to say again, the shark again, you know, because it works with like how terrifying the shark is. And
to talk to the shark is it had to be practical. Or like every year, John, we have 10 shark films and they're all digital. And like I don't believe the digital sharks. Like they look pretty cool, but like they move too quickly and you don't have any weight to them because CGI struggles still with the concept of getting across the weight of the monster. Especially when you're talking about interaction with the displacement of water. Like it's really hard to get those two things right, the weight of the creature and the weight affecting the water. And so when you're dealing with a practical element that weighs half a ton, it's very hard to build. It's very hard to shoot. It's very hard to make it function properly. But man, when it does, it just looks real. And so, you know, you're starting very front-footed with something where if you get it right, it's just going to look real, you know. And we've had hundreds of shark films between Jaws and today, and none of them come close. Jaws is still the best, you know. And, you know, the Jaws shark every now and again looks a bit dodgy, but when it works, there is nothing scarier, you know, because it's a real thing that they put out there in the ocean, you know, and so I wanted to really put in the time to do a practical shark. And it's been really good to get the response from critics and audiences and stuff. And everybody's like, one of the things I really like about this film is it's a practical shark. It's a real fin slicing through the water with a 1-ton submarine underneath it, you know, and you can tell it's, you know, it's a real thing with weight, you know, and it's interacting with the actors, you know.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to tell you, like my oldest daughter and I, we love to watch shark movies, and we always make fun of the sharks. But when I saw this one, I'm like, I got a good one for you, and she's all excited because I'm going to show her this one to her when I can. But again, phenomenal job. And I don't want to spoil anything, but the last shot of the movie, is that supposed to imply something? If you know what I'm talking about, like before the credit hits.
I always leave the sequel open in my last shot, John. It's just something I always do.
I figured. I know that about you. Yes,
I love sequels. I love franchises, you know, and usually I get to the end of my films and I love the process of making it so much. I want to leave that door open, you know, very obviously. So yeah, there's a last shot where I'm like, oh yeah. There could be more trouble brewing, you know.
But then it's great because not only do it, like they're in a screwed situation to begin with, then they have the shark, and then you throw a Japanese soldier in the mix, and it's fun. I was loving it from beginning to end, slow burn, but then when he kicks in, it's awesome. It's a great experience. I just wish I was able to see it on a big screen, you know, because this is one of those movies you'd want to see on a big screen. It's just
I watched the premiere in Melbourne at the Melbourne International Film Festival, and it was this giant, you know, like 50-foot screen. It was like, you know, 500 people in this huge cinema. And it was different, eh? Like I'd seen it so often on smaller screens and never with a big audience. And it was so satisfying. You know, they were screaming and groaning and laughing and moaning and crying in all the right places. And it was very interactive. It was really good to have finally made another one of those films that just really gets audiences pumping. And it is a good one to watch on a big screen. The photography by Mark Wareham and the design work by Esther Rosenberg and all that. So it's quite it's a weirdly beautiful film for a shark film, you know. So yeah, if you can watch it on the big screen, it's worth it.
And I just want to say the biggest compliment I could give you in this film, it's a great film to do as a double bill with Jaws. I mean, you watch Jaws, and that's the biggest compliment I could give it to you. So
that's a scary concept, eh? Like I'm just like, well, make sure mine screens first.
No, come on, give yourself some credit. Give yourself some credit. It's awesome. I loved it. All right, just real quick, I gotta let you go, but just what do you want people to take away after the credits roll and they're done watching it? Because I know what I got out of it, but what do you want people to get out of it?
I want kind of two things. I want them to look at this and go, wow, this actually happened, and do a little bit of research into the Armidale and see what those amazing Australian heroes went through, because there was some heroism in that real story that I just couldn't believe. But otherwise, I just want them to have fun. Like it's a roller coaster movie. It's a popcorn movie. It's a summer it's a low budget summer blockbuster, and I want people to just go, that had all the elements I needed. You know, it's like I wanted it to have like adventure and pathos and emotion and humor and, you know, like enough war stuff and fight choreography and all that kind of stuff and explosions. And it's like I kind of want people to get to the end of it and just go, yeah, that was a roller coaster. You know, that was worth the price of entry. I really enjoyed that, you know.
And what I loved was Wyrmwood, those movies. I'm having trouble saying that. I don't know why, but those
Wyrmwood,
movies, Wyrmwood. Those are like the opposite of, like, you did something different. Like those movies are over the top, crazy, bombastic, and this is like, I mean, this gets a little bombastic too, but you know, a little more grittier, stripped down and visceral. So yeah,
well, Wyrmwood is me trying to do Mad Max meets Dawn of the Dead, and like those are very different films. They're very very genre, very almost grindhouse kind of thing. Whereas with this one, like the things that I was being inspired by, which were primarily Jaws and Gallipoli, there's a lot of serious undertones. Like Jaws is a masterpiece that arguably, you know, it's this amazing, dark, beautifully made Hitchcockian, David Lean-esque treatise on American capitalism that then turns into, you know, Captain Ahab versus the whale, 3 men on a boat, Treasure of the Sierra Madre with a fin. And it's like there's a lot going on in that film. Like it's not just a genre kind of thing. And with, you know, a film like Peter Weir's Gallipoli, I mean, that is just, it's a film about the tragedy of losing effectively children to war. You know, they sent these 17-year-old boys off to just be absolutely mutilated by Turkish machine guns. And I wanted to have both of those things in this film. So I was trying something different with this one, and it's come out different to any film I've made previously. Like, there is a serious undertone to it, and there's a few more layers to this one. So yeah, I'm quite proud of the work, and I hope people come and watch it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and talking about it. Like I said, I love the fact that I get to watch these movies and I get to talk to the people that made them afterwards. It's just a joy, and just listening to what you guys have to say. So continued success, get success with the film and whatever else you do in the future. And hopefully I talk to you again. Like I said, I want to pick your brain about those other films. So maybe one day we'll get to do that. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about your Commando poster, man. I love that movie.
I get a lot of compliments on those. Yeah, every time I do it, like, yeah, I love your Commando poster. I'm like, that's why it's up there. So
well, there's a little bit of Commando in this one too. I grew up watching those
is.
80s action films, and I'm like,
Yes.
I can't help but put a little bit of 80s action film in every film I make too.
It
You
does.
know, like,
That's why I was like, I was watching this movie. I'm like, this just has a little bit of everything. And then, like I said, not to spoil, but you throw the Japanese soldier there now. It's like, holy cow! It's like, what else is gonna? And then it's like they're telling him to do something when you see the guy. It's just like, do it. It's like, because this isn't gonna end well. But I just love that part too. So.
Well, yeah, well, that's the films always flounder somewhere in the third act where you're like, we've kind of done everything. What are we going to do? So I was like, oh well, let's throw something crazy in there. You know what I mean? Just to boost things up at the end before the final act. You know,
absolutely.
And so yeah, it sort of almost turns into like a little Kurosawa action martial arts film there for a second. You know.
Exactly. But again, thank you so much for talking to me. And like I said, I can't wait for people to see it. I can't wait till I can put my review out. I'll do my best to promote it and pump it up. But a great job, and I loved it.
Thanks so much, John. I really appreciate you guys taking an interest.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, mate.